The emergence of memory sciences in 20th century Europe was intricately tied to processes of secularization and the development of a scientific approach to understanding the human mind, particularly in the later part of the century spanning from 1874 to 1886. According to Hacking's description, there was a growing belief that human memory and recollection held the key to understanding mental life. It was increasingly asserted that many life issues could only be comprehended and resolved through precise reconstructions of individuals' life stories or the collective histories of groups. As this cultural shift unfolded, the traditional practice of the art of memory began to wane, replaced by a scientific or science oriented approach that focused on systematically studying the structures, processes, and functions of memory, as well as other aspects of human physiology, psychology, and daily social interactions. The growing field of memory sciences, with psychology and psychoanalysis playing significant roles, heralded an era of intense scrutiny and exploration into the workings of memory and recollection. This scientific inquiry into memory was closely intertwined with broader efforts to understand and narrativize the human psyche. The narrative turn in social and cultural sciences, which gained momentum in the later part of the 20th century, shed light on the fundamental role of narrative and storytelling in shaping and articulating the human psyche. This interdisciplinary focus underscored the centrality of narrative forms in comprehending various aspects of psychology, including perception, cognition, motivation, emotion, and social dynamics. Numerous empirical studies have highlighted the narrative structuring of memory processes and recollection achievements, emphasizing how memories often take the form of stories or integral components of larger narrative frameworks. In the 19th century, the engagement with the past and history drove a scientific research agenda that aimed not only for knowledge and enlightenment, but also for enriching life and enhancing performance. Memory research, particularly in psychology, became intertwined with the ethics of recollection, wherein restructuring the past became a central activity for reason oriented life management. Remembering and recollecting truthfully and comprehensively were considered psychological dispositions essential for controlling and disciplining various aspects of daily life, promising psychosocial benefits. This cultural ethos emphasized authenticity and veracity in narrating one's own history, reflecting a commitment to psychological realism. The narrative structuring of recollection played a crucial role in shaping personal identity and self perception, with the past informing present actions and future aspirations. In psychiatry, psychoanalysis, and psychotherapy, the meticulous exploration and emotional processing of one's past were seen as pathways to overcoming negative patterns of thought and behavior, thereby enabling personal growth and fulfillment. Freudian concepts like transference and psychic causality underscored the dynamic and creative nature of recollection, wherein memories constantly evolve and acquire new meanings in light of new experiences and developmental stages. Memories are not static entities but rather undergo constant change, often through their integration into an evolving life narrative. Personal memories are not fixed objects, but rather complex constructions that are continuously shaped and reshaped during the process of recollection. This perspective is fundamental to narrative cognitive psychology, which views memories, even the most intimate ones, as influenced by cultural and social semantics as well as by linguistic and other symbolic repertoires and modes of expressions. Personal memories frequently result from dialogues and other collaborative processes of co construction. These concepts have long been applied in narrative psychotherapy, which has evolved from earlier practices such as psychoanalysis. While early psychoanalysis focused on the therapeutic power of talking, construction of autobiographical self stories, modern narrative psychotherapy encompasses a diverse array of narrative based therapeutic techniques. Despite their differences, these approaches share a common belief in the therapeutic value of narrative in reshaping one's self perception and relationships. Transformations in self narratives have been shown to correlate with significant psychological changes, particularly in the context of trauma recovery. Despite some objections, the cultural emphasis on memory and recollection has persisted. Nietzsche, for instance, criticized certain historical approaches for their potential to stifle individual and collective agency by fixating on the past. Nevertheless, the prevailing view has been that a thorough understanding of the past, achieved through scientific methods, is essential for shaping present identities and future aspirations. This perspective emphasizes the interconnectedness of past, present, and future in shaping individual and collective identities. Both narrative psychology and psychotherapy play crucial roles in deciphering the dark traces of the past and constructing coherent narratives of personal and collective experience. However, they are not without criticism, particularly regarding the pressure to construct complete life narratives, which may be unrealistic and potentially detrimental to well being. The narrative character of memory construction highlights the communicative and discursive nature of the past, present, and future. Representations of events and experiences are not mere reproductions, but rather active construction by cognitive, emotional, and motivational processes. Language and other symbolic media play crucial roles in shaping and transmitting these representations, making memory and recollection inherently cultural phenomena. Bartlett's groundbreaking research in cognitive psychology challenged the prevailing views established by Ebbinghaus's approach to memory, which dominated much of the 19th and 20th centuries. While Ebbinghaus sought to formulate a general theory of memory based on supposedly neutral experiments with nonsense syllables, Bartlett took a different approach. He emphasized the active, constructive nature of memory and recollection, asserting that cultural context and cognitive frameworks profoundly influence how memories are formed and recalled. In Bartlett's view, individuals do not passively memorize objective events but rather transform them into experiences that align with their existing knowledge and cultural schemas. Memory is not a static storage medium, but a dynamic process of construction and reconstruction, shaped by cultural influences and cognitive mechanisms. Bartlett's research revealed that memory operates both actively and creatively, with recollections being meaningfully structured compositions rather than neutral reproductions of past events. Bartlett introduced the concept of schemata or organized units of knowledge, which play a crucial role in shaping memory and recollection. He demonstrated this through experiments where participants recalled unfamiliar stories by assimilating them into familiar cultural frameworks. This process highlighted the active role of memory in creating coherent narratives from fragmented experiences, emphasizing the narrative structuring of events. These evolutionized cognitive psychology, leading to a shift away from the idea of memory as a passive repository of information towards understanding it as an active, culturally embedded process. Modern theories of memory recognize its dynamic and constructive nature, with each act of recollection being influenced by present cultural context and future expectations. Bartlett's work laid the foundation for understanding complex psychological phenomena such as dissociative identity disorder within a narrative framework. By emphasizing the importance of autobiographical narratives and the role of trauma in shaping identity, Bartlett's approach contributed to a deeper understanding of the human psyche and its connection to memory. The complex case of multiple personality remains a prominent example of how memory and recollection shape an individual's psychological life, Often buried memories of traumatic experiences, inaccessible to the conscious mind, can cause significant distress and hinder one's ability to function. Early therapeutic efforts emphasized the importance of remembering and talking about these experiences as a crucial step toward healing. Therapists must navigate the risk of unconsciously eliciting false memories. The phenomenon of false memory syndrome has led to public skepticism and even legal disputes over the authenticity of recovered memories, particularly in cases of alleged sexual abuse. The cultural climate surrounding discussions of sexual abuse has influenced individuals to construct narratives of victimhood, sometimes attributing traumatic experiences to individuals who are later found to be innocent. The process of memory work in psychotherapy involves embedding recovered memories into an autobiographical narrative, often following a standardized structure. This highlights the cultural encoding of personal memories and the influence of societal norms and taboos on the construction of autobiographical stories. Moreover, the concept of traumatic experiences and their psychological impact is deeply embedded in narratives, shaping understandings of conditions like multiple personality disorder. Narrative psychology further explores how autobiographical narratives are influenced by cultural patterns and societal expectations. Stories of trauma and crisis often follow familiar cultural scripts, reflecting broader social narratives surrounding suffering and resilience. The narrative construction of the self, therefore, occurs within a cultural framework that shapes both memory and identity.